if you saw it. I had all sorts of hassles here and there, and yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it? Well, let's try some music. Start again, as you do. This is Nobby Noble. Musician from England somewhere. Right. Today, folks, it's said earlier, 26th of the ninth, 2024 is Amos Sewn 113. Next bit. Did the other bit in the other computer, and that didn't go too well. So I'll try this computer. So have a look at some news. So there's, I think that was just about done. It says a few more seconds. Yep, that was it. All right, let's get to the news, shall we? All right. Get the screen a bit shorter so I can. Mum, you have to come back. Aussie stranded in Lebanon as possible Israeli ground invasion looms. Seriously, folks. What the hell is happening over there? Anyway, we'll run a scare campaign inside the political surrounding Labor's negative gearing dilemma. Yeah, what are they doing there? Putin writes his nuclear weapons rulebook as Zelensky warns UN of troubling winter plan. Anyway, armed guards spotted scattering belongings next to a manhole, prying it open. They made a startling discovery. What that one's about. It's kind of funny on me. We get to a size where we can look at it. Anyway, lust for red gold is fueling crime waves in South Africa. Oh no. Oh no, not that button, that button. Sorry, folks. The price of copper soars. Armed criminal syndicates are stripping the country bare in a search for easy cash. It's nearly 10 p.m. and by the time some funny name has cleaned up has gotten her youngest child ready for bed. For dinner, she'd made sandwiches with ham and ketchup before helping her eldest daughter with her science homework. Then she reached for a warmest jacket, put a balaclava down over her head and rummaged for her shimbok, a heavy leather whip that can extract excruciating pain in its victims. As she stepped out the door, her walkie-talkie came to life. "Manglo, come," cracked the voice, using Mrs. Noshi's call sign. "It's bad outside." How's that, folks? It's bad outside. Anyway, back to the news. Most nights for the last 4 years, Miss Nossi, an employed single mother of 4 living in Alexandra, one of Johannesburg's poorest and most densely populated neighbourhoods, set out on foot to hunt down copper thieves. Hunt down copper thieves. Well, the wave of copper theft is sweeping South Africa, dragging the country into a full-blown national crisis that hobbled the electricity grid, forced hospitals and railways to suspend services, and confounded local authorities. Using homemade tools, organised syndicates of thieves pry open manhole covers and force their way into signal boxes and rip copper from wherever they can find it. In streets, lightning power infrastructure and underground phone cabling. Oh, look. There's a bit of copper there. Anyway. South Africa's the continent's most industrialised economy, but also one of the world's most unequal. Poverty and desperation has given many thieves to steal to survive. At the same time, the global shortage of copper, which is a key component in electric vehicles, solar panels and computers, has made the crime even more profitable. In South Africa, copper is such a hot commodity, it's been called red gold, and the rush is on. I just whipped them a little bit. On a good week, Miss Nossi can easily make several busts. Nothing is off limits. She catches thieves sometimes in residents' home trying to pull the copper wire off electrical kettle. Other times, there's scaling the telegraph pole for overhead cabling. She and other old patrollers call the suspected thieves fresh meat. I just whipped them a little bit, maybe 10 or 15 lashes, Mrs. Nossie with a grin. Then they started talking. Is this for real? Yes, it is for real. Well, it must be. It's in, where are we? ABC News. It's got to be, fucking, yes, ABC News. Anyway, wrapping her scarf tightly around her, she made her way down dark alleyways to the meeting point, where the rest of the group was already gathered. Each went by a different call sign. Snow White, Desperado, Mayonnaise, Slander, Mamba, Computer, Fighter, Boss. Gee, I wonder who the boss is. Anyway, and Cucumber. Well, Cucumber's probably the boss. Anyway, together they make up Alexandra Community Patrol, a group of vigilantes formed during the pandemic. Gee, where'd that word come from? To protect the township from copper thieves. Well, who's the thief and who's the police? That's the way it's going, folks. No one knows who's what and where to look. Be scared, folks. Be very, very scared. Anyway, Community Patrol heads out at 5 a.m. in search of copper thieves operating in Alexandria. Mrs. Nosey, I think that's it. Looks like it's Nkosi, so that's Nosey, isn't it? Anyway, has become a fixture of the patrols, whose no-nonsense approach has earned her a group reputation in Alexandria and beyond. It's also brought with complications. Criminals she previously apprehended have recognised her in the supermarket. While running errands, her children are reported being ostracised by classmates at their school. Ooh. Maybe it's not so good being a snitch. A patrol person. Anyway, nothing is enough to rattle her. Crime has affected me a lot, so I no longer fear criminals, she said one early morning on patrol. Criminals are now scared of us. Oh, fucking good on her, I reckon. On you, Miss Nosey. There's a personal score to settle. Black House she blames on thieves, ransacking Alexandria's fragile power grid have made her life miserable for her and her children. In winter, homework has to be completed by candlelight. Without heating, some nights the temperature is the shack can approach freezing. Dinner is cooked on a kerosene stove. Most nights are patrolled routine and meat anyway. Right? I think we've had enough of that story, don't you reckon? This story just goes on and on. Anyway. Dutton's plan to sell. Try again. Dutton's plan for nuclear power will open up 70 billion gas gap, Labor says. All right. So, opposition is talking about nuclear, so Labor says it's going to cost us gas. Do we really want to go there? No. Sydney swim coach dies weeks after being found guilty of raping and sexually assaulting young girls. This sounds like a common sort of occurrence, doesn't it? Yes, there's more about stabbings in Sydney. So really, there's a little story about a man charged with murder following a stabbing. And the thing is, like, as horrible as they are, folks, excuse me, stabbings do happen all the time and always have, pretty much. And it's not a good thing. It's making the news now. What was that? These women sought court protection for their violent partners, but they didn't get it. No doubt. That's the way the system works. Ladies, you complain as much as you want, and we'll go and have a good laugh. It's horrible. That's why we sort of. Anyway, refresh new stories. Oh, we got new stories, folks. That might be interesting. No, nothing new here. It's all pretty. Actually, let me go back to. At least it seems to be working this time. What's happening on Do Live? Oh, look. Let's hear what's happening on Do Live.
No character in the history of all religions is as fierce as the Hindu goddess Kali. In India, Kali is known as the Dark Goddess. When the Western scholars encountered Kali, their first reaction was that of shock and surprise. For one thing, they had trouble swallowing the idea that the female could be divine. The closest they had come to such a deity was the kindly and virginal Mother Mary. In the 20th century, with the rise of women's rights, feminists came to view Kali as the embodiment of feminine power. They found her to be liberating. The image of Kali that exists in the West is rather different from the way most Indians see her. Kali, the name which literally means time in Sanskrit, is an intensely frightening and the most powerful manifestation of Shakti. There are many depictions of the different forms of Kali. The most common form often shows Kali as black, naked, with angry red sunken eyes, wearing skulls around her neck as jewelry and limbs around her waist. Her blackness represents that she is Nirguna, meaning beyond all qualities of nature. She has 4 arms, showing aspects of both creation and destruction. With a blood sword in one of her hands, she defeats the enemies and carries the head of a demon on the other hand. She holds the bowl on the third hand, where the blood of the enemy is collected and the last is held out in blessing. She has an open mouth with blood drooling down her tongue while she stands on the body of her husband, Lord Shiva. Although Kali is associated with blood, death, and destruction, she is also seen as a mother figure and often referred to as Ma Kali, meaning Mother Kali. Kali is the dramatic expression. The birth or origin of Kali is popularly known through the story of her fight in Markandeya Purana. In Hindu mythology, Raktabij was a demon or asura who had been given a boon by Lord Brahma that every time a drop of his blood fell on the ground, a new version of his own would be created. Having received this boon, he made the life of people and gods miserable, more so with this power to produce more Raktabij every time he sheds a drop of his blood. Hence the gods reached out to goddess Durga or Shakti for help. Armed with all the weapons, the goddess charged at the demon. But as soon as she wounded him with her sword and his blood fell on the earth, the demon multiplied. With more attempts at killing Raktabij, he kept on multiplying. Huge armies of Raktabij were formed by the drops of blood which fell on the earth. Enraged by this, the Devi took the fierce and infuriated form of Kali. She went on to destroy the demon with her sword in her hand. She slayed each demon and collected their bloods in her bowl and drank it immediately. Soon she finished the whole army of Raktabij and only the real Raktabij was left. Then she killed him down and drank his blood until he fell down lifeless. Not realizing that the real Raktabij was dead, the goddess continued her destruction and drinking blood of the innocent. She continued to kill anybody that appeared her way. Seeing this, the gods became extremely worried and approached Lord Shiva for help. Lord Shiva went and laid down amongst the corpses, while the goddess was madly dancing for blood.
sensational headlines, and conspiracy theory. I am simply a man who calls it like I see it. But as a world-class celebrity, I have unfortunately seen more than I care to admit. Human clones. The Illuminati. The mark of the beast. I'm sorry to inform you that these things exist. Now, I don't regard myself to be wise, but it seems to me that when all of humanity stands in the face of an evil force, we would do well to support the efforts of the brave individuals who stand against it. This is why I support the good work being done at Fallen World Films. Will inherit less freedoms than at the Shawshank State Prison. Take it from me, a guy who sounds like Morgan Freeman.
Investor place, 8 metaverse cryptos to buy for a bet on next gen real estate. And this real estate is a serious thing. Like I'm about to show a video and you guys are going to get a glimpse of it yourself. And just see how big this business actually is. And I think it's the beginning of the end, but let me finish the presentation before you think I'm being hyperbolic. If you were watching crypto at the end of 2021, you know that the metaverse is set to be huge in 2022. The trend of virtual socialization rose meteorically over the last several months, leaving some astonished by the idea and others still scratching their heads. The latter group, the ones scratching their heads, is likely the larger one, hesitant to adopt this new way of interacting, which seems foreign, complicated, or both. Still, they will come around. Yeah, they'll have no choice to. Or they'll be gone because they won't take the mark. The phenomenon seems to be more than a passing fad. With that said, though, investors may be running into trouble when seeking out metaverse cryptos to buy. Okay, and the idea is just that crypto is the money in the metaverse. And I put together another little video to kind of paint a picture of what this really looks like. Check it out.
Great. Looks like you need a good wine pairing. Take a look to your right. Your age has already been pre-ready. I'm getting a notification from your connected smart fridge. It looks like you already have a full gallon of milk at home. Should we put this one back? Your vehicle will be ready at the Tire and Lube Express. I've added.
They're having a few streaming issues, folks. Sure, I'll find something else to play.
Definitely saved the best for last.
No. Before you've got to be a good selector before you're a good coach. And this Wallaby team was in real trouble. The new fellow was picking the wrong people. Now, I would like to think, immodestly, I might have had some role in this. I have been a long advocate of the creative skills of Quade Cooper. You can't constrain those skills. So sometimes he'll get you into trouble, but he'll get you out of trouble more often than he gets you into trouble. Now, the credit I give to the coach is he then chose to pick Quade Cooper. He then chose to pick James O'Connor, and suddenly the excitement of playing with the football overcame the turgid stuff about pick and drive. So the defeat by New Zealand in those Bledisloe Cup matches has really served Australia well. Dave Rennie changed his approach towards selection. Quade's gone in there, and I think now we've got the nucleus of a fairly formidable side. The other part of it was we had this stupid Giddo's law, where people playing overseas couldn't be picked for Australia. Now, I have argued all along, a selector's job is to pick the very best team no matter where they live or where they're playing. Again, they're doing that now. So Rennie's now got this injection of people who previously, until now, had been disqualified from being chosen for Australia. So we've always had the talent. Now, if he can mobilise that talent, yeah, I think we can beat anyone.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
Your wisdom.
Most welcome. Thank you, Nick.
That was Alan Jones in an interview I recorded with him 2 years ago. Thanks for that, Alan. It was a really fascinating conversation. If you like Battleground, well, you can watch it on demand at any time on adh.tv or download the app via your smartphone or smart TV. That's about it for this week. Thanks to Charlie and the team here, and I'll be back again next week with another edition of Battleground on ADH TV.
Hello, my name is Levi Wolf, and I am the rabbi here at the Central Synagogue in Sydney, Australia. It's a privilege and honor to be able to share a few words with you and to have the opportunity to be a guest on this illustrious channel, bringing the universal messages, the values of Judeo-Christian to the millions of Australians across this vast and great, wonderful country. My wife and I arrived to Australia about 25 years ago. We originally came to Perth, where we served the Jewish community there until August of 2001. When we came here to Sydney, today we serve as the spiritual leaders at the Central Synagogue in Sydney, a magnificent community, a beautiful sanctuary. In fact, it's the largest sanctuary in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a synagogue that has well over 2,000.
No, don't want to know about that.
The dominant and leading metaverse landlord.
Companies pay an architect to design virtual homes or malls and a game developer to build them. Zoning rules limit what and where a company can build in the metaverse. But unlike the real world, metaverse buildings can defy the laws of physics.
So there's a point in the development cycle where it looks nearly identical to real world real estate development. So you hire an architect, you come up with a mood board, you pull images of other spaces and buildings and designs you like, and you figure out what it is you're going to build. And then from that point forward, it actually turns into video game development. So then you hand it off to 3D renderers and then to 3D developers who make it interactive.
Boring as fuck, right? Let's have a look at some different news. Let's have a look at Al Jazeera's, eh? Oh, well, but yeah, that's why we better go. Not muted, am I? Very good. New wave of Israel attacks kills 72 across Lebanon, nearly 400 wounded. Yeah, I heard it was a bit more than that. Anyway. We saw deaths in Lebanon. People flee for their lives on Israel attacks. Disastrous failure, how Biden emboldened Israel's attack to attack Lebanon. Good on ya, Biden. Elon Musk roars Brazil to Australia, UK to US. The ex-owner, many battles. Oh, poor fella. Who is Pakistan's new spy chief? Asim Milak. Isn't there an actor with that name? Anyway. IMF proves $7 billion funding agreement for Pakistan. I wonder what that's for. Probably soccer field. Maybe not. Rebel News. Let's see what Rebel News is doing. Sure, that'll be interesting. Rebel News, that's it's a New Zealand, not New Zealand, Canadian mob. And they've got a bloke in Australia. Go away. Alright. Expose the traitors. 11 parliamentarians are working for foreign states. Only 11? Is that all? Surely not. Anyway, let's see what's happening in Australia. We don't care what's happening in Canada, do we? Or do we? Here he is. Avi Yemeni. He's part of the plan, that's for sure. Yes. Victorian Liberal leader soft. Hamas stance raises eyebrows. I wonder what he did there. Did he say something against Israel or something? Or who get killed? Yes, someone killed themselves in Switzerland, but it's all good, in a suicide pod. South Australia's council reverses decisions on Australia Day celebrations. Really? What do they do? Melbourne Mayor, mutant vision for a city ruthlessly mocked. And Victorian government calls out misinformation on gas. Waste time with the music again, folks. What do you reckon? Let's go back to Nobby Nobles and see something more of his. Beachy one. Yeah. Let's have a look at this one.
plan, India's government will extend fiscal support to up to 50% of a project's cost to eligible display and semiconductor fabricators, the government said in a statement. Exclusive. Italy, Intel, the Intel of Italy, intensified talks over $9 billion chip factory inside a local microchip factory, looking to expand production amid global shortage. Intel is spending $20 billion to build 2 new chip plants in Arizona. Intel announced on Tuesday that it will spend $20 billion to build 2 major factories in Arizona. The news comes amid a worldwide chip shortage.
Just keep this in mind. They're playing our CDs when they're not home. They're playing my tapes in your own car, in the tape. And I'm influencing your children.
So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you. You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct.
Kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
Many parents have stated to us this week that we work for them, the taxpayers. This is a misconception. And so I'd like to take a moment to explain.
And we were, yes, elected by you.
Come on.
Do what you want us to do. That's
I'm a rapper.
Yeah.
The video, which was co-directed by Lil Nas X, is filled with biblical and ancient Greek references. And at one point, the 21-year-old slides down a hole to hell to seduce the devil and give Satan a lap dance.
About 120 juniors, girls and boys at Columbia Grammar and Prep School were subjected to Fonte's class called Pornography Literacy, an intersectional focus on main.
Next bit of Amos Sewn 113. Technical stuff-ups all over the place, but there's a little bit of news in there. Hope you, if there's anyone dumb enough to watch the whole thing. Nobby, I'm not saying you're dumb. You're a champion, mate. He's from the old country. Well, he's still in the old country, which is England, folks. See? Got a English flag behind me. It's upside down. It's the Australian flag upside down, which means we're in distress. Because we've been taken over by psychopathic, pedophilic, nasty people. What are we going to do about it? Yeah, if you're watching shows like this, well, you're probably not doing much. I'm not doing much, just trying to do a bit, I guess. Anyway, be good to each other, folks, because that's what's really important. And look the world around you and see it for what it really is. An open-air prison. Believe it or not.